Greetings, and welcome to the afternoon session of August 13 here in San Diego. The session is called Advanced Chemical Recycling, Part 2, a continuation of the theme from this morning. First of all, I'd like to thank Swix and Gene Jones and his team for running another excellent conference. I've been to several now, and they're always really excellent in terms of content and contacts that come out of it. So thank you, Gene, and all for what you do. Yes. Secondly, I'd like to put to rest a rumor that's circulating that I am the third Blues Brother. That's not true. I'm wearing these because my eyes are sensitive to light ever since I had cataract surgery a few months ago. So, we have an exceptional and distinguished panel here that I think you're going to enjoy, each speaking on a different topic and of interest. And again, we're going to have the speakers speak and then reserve the end of the final speech for taking questions for any of the speakers. The first speaker is Dr. Andrea Neal. She is president and board member of Blue Capital LLC, and she will be speaking on the circularity of plastic in fuel. Thank you.
Set my little timer here so I don't go over. I want to definitely thank Gene for having us all here. And I know you guys have just had like a lot of food, so if all of you could just kind of get up. Just get up. Shake your bodies out. Get the wiggles out. Give a little stretch, a little yawn. Wake your bodies. Yeah, thank you. All right. So today I'm going to talk about circularity in general and how we increase value through sustainability. Oh, that's the wrong way. Here. So who we are. So Blue Capital is a group of companies that have come together to create greenhouse gas reductions through intelligent design and process. And so we're creating jobs and bolstering blue economies. So some of the companies that we work with, Aegis Inc., which is a design and architectural firm, University of San Diego, and we have one of our students in the audience today. So everyone say hi to Lily. And then we work with Revision, which works with looking at embodied carbon in buildings. Earthwise Sorbents, which is a 100% sustainable sorbent company that works with 100% recycled materials. And Green Advantage, which really addresses the job development piece of these strategies. So what we do. So Blue Capital helps companies address their mandated carbon emission reductions. So as many of you may or may not know, there's a lot of emission reduction requirements, especially with vessels going to Europe. So anything over 5,000 tons in a vessel going to Europe has stronger and stronger restrictions, and those get even stronger in January 1st of next year. Any airplanes that are going to Europe, large industrial companies, and we're starting to also see these restrictions in California, and we also see them with SEC requirements for reporting on scope 1 and 2 mandated reductions. So we help companies buy greenhouse gas reduction securities. That means the security is basically a futures. And then the carbon equity is generated by projects that apply to a company's scope 1 through 3 compliance emission reductions. And so what that means is it's within their supply chain. So I wanted to start kind of with an overview of the area. So I wanted to talk about what is plastic circularity. So it's when plastic products are renewed or regenerated, not wasted, so not going to landfill. And what is a circular plastic economy? Well, if a plastic product is used, recycled, or reused in a way that allows it to go back into a new life cycle or supply chain, once again, not into landfill or the ocean. So many of you, when we think about circular economy, this is probably an overview that you've seen many times, where you have production of a product, it transports to who's going to consume it, It's then collected. It goes into some sort of recycling, whether that's chemical recycling or mechanical recycling. And that recycled material then goes back into production of those products. And that's kind of the classic overarching view, but it's a very simplistic idea of what true circularity really is. And so what many of us, and I've heard quite a lot, the talk is the big black box that we talk about for carbon accounting or mass balance accounting. And so we have this overgeneralized simplicity that it means we have a feedstock that's going in, there's a pretreatment system, there's conversion that creates a product, and there's some pollution control. But it's a very simplistic idea of what carbon accounting is and what circularity really means. So here's a paper that was put out in 2023, and I'm just using it as an example of, while you can make it less simplified, you still have an overarching problem of really addressing the industry as a whole. And the reason for that is because every single LCA is different based on site, based on technology, based on the different process train of that technology, based on your feedstock, based on your products that are coming out. It's all into a different accounting system. So putting everything into a black box or saying the industry makes this reduction as a whole, or it does this as a whole, or this particular piece of technology makes this reduction, makes no sense at all. We have to create authenticity in our accounting so that we don't have misconceptions or misconstrue what data is actually telling us. So this is a very simplified example of this. So if we take the very initial idea of, all right, how are we going to make some decisions in making our development for carbon accounting basis? And we think about, all right, what are some of the products we would like to have? We could have plastic as an end product, we could have fuels as an end product, we could have fuel additives as an end product, we could have electricity as an end product. And then we look at some of the simplified steps of those, of where we get our feedstock and what that feedstock is, how we're going to deal with that feedstock, and then what are the conversion steps to get to the different products that we have. So just thinking about it from energy in, energy out, mass balance approach. So if we're looking at MSW, MSW takes a lot of sorting and stringent manufacturing of working with that feedstock to get it into a form that can be used by a lot of conversion technologies. So we see a lot of people using post-consumer industrial plastics, which is a really good fit for reducing some of that MSW conversion process. So in this model, I've got your fuel additives, your fuels, and your plastics all need to have a recycling system. So they need a MRF. And the reason for it is because in order to get to those products, they have to have very stringent restrictions. Most of them need under 5% contamination on that feedstock. So there's going to be a lot of work on that MRF to make sure that that polymer that you're working with has been sorted appropriately and is also cleaned appropriately for the process. Can't have salts on it, for instance. So sometimes you see chlorinated compounds coming from tire conversion in places where they put a lot of salt on the ground during the winter. So there's a lot of things that go into this process. If you're going to electricity, there's a lot more rigidity in that system because you're not utilizing it as a fuel product in that way. You're putting the syngas through a boiler or combustion system so that you're getting electricity. And so the contaminants that get released are really dependent on your pollution control system. So I take it from every step. So you have your MRF, everybody has grinding that needs to happen in this scenario, conversion of some kind, whatever that conversion is. And then I looked at, just looking at your mass balance, very basic, what has the most energy going out and what has the least energy going out, and what is going to be your best return on investment from that perspective, just on a mass balance energy perspective. So creating authentic accounting, I think, can only happen through isolating mass balance carbon accounting for every step in your process, which includes waste input materials, feedstock import, end products, process train efficiencies, project site placement, embodied carbon and sustainable landscaping, which is often left out of the equation unless you're in California, and export of product. So this is just an example of project infrastructure just for a conversion system. So looking at it from a mass balance standpoint, looking at the energies going in, looking at the efficiencies that can go through the system. How do you create more energy inputs that have more sustainability impacts to them, like solar? How do you use less on your utilities, like water, and so putting in things like RO systems or other water recycling systems? How are you looking at air filtration and your pollution control? All of these go into accounting mechanisms and should not be in a black box. All of these have value. Every single step of this has value. So then we take a look at a project site, and we're like, okay, so here's the project infrastructure. Well, what if we add into this living regenerative restoration, which is looking at your sustainable landscaping? So what are some of the things that you can do there? You can once again add in solar into your landscaping. You can maybe put it over your parking areas. You can have water inputs and how you recycle that water. Using salt-tolerant species, using phytoremediation if you have contamination on site. All of that living regeneration has accounting and methods to it that create credit value. Wetland restoration, the building materials that are going into your embodied carbon. So are you using reclaimed, sustainable, or new building materials? So this is the landscaping that goes with your internal infrastructure. Then, especially if you're in California, you have to think about embodied carbon of your industrial building. So then we get into like some real ins and outs of what's happening, from air filtration to how you're going to put in your vacuum systems to reduce any escaping dust particles, how you're going to use your energy and water and control systems, and how you're going to use electronics and sophisticated methods to analyze and to make efficiencies for that. Air circulation systems, and building materials, again, reclaimed, sustainable, new. It all goes into these carbon accounting systems. And I don't expect all of you to read, those are quite small diagrams, so I don't expect you to read it in its entirety, except to know there's a lot of steps that go into each piece of this. So why would we go through all that effort? Why would we think about all those steps? And why would we decide to really put the work into accounting methods that take every little piece of your development into account? Well, the benefits are that if you are working with a European company, maybe you're working with Exxon or Shell that export products to Europe. Well, they have European requirements for reduction they have to meet. Maybe you're shipping your product with another company. They have European requirements that they have to meet for reduction. If you work with a public company, they have mandated SEC reporting requirements for their scope 1, 2 reductions. You can generate and monetize your verified CO2e reductions. You can remediate toxic sites. So as a developer, you could buy a site that maybe is $20 million, or you could buy a site that's $2 million and has toxicity on it, but you're remediating the site, and you get a site for a lower value, and you're remediating it, and you're getting credits for doing so. So there's a lot of thought process that goes into your site certifications and developments. You create certifications for mandates, then required reporting. So we heard earlier about ISCC EU processes and how you're actually accounting for that. That's part of these certifications for the reporting mechanisms. You can boost your environmental marketing. Imagine going into a place that's beautiful and sustainable, and you can talk about all the efficiencies that you put into it. That's incredible marketing material for what you're doing. And of course, you can help achieve ESG goals, and many of the large corporations that you're working with have them and need to meet them. So here's the real reason you do it. The real reason you do it is this is the most stable market in the marketplace, and it's drastically increasing. So today it's around $70 US dollars per ton of CO2 on the global ETS market. But in the next year, in January, they expect it to go up to 80. And then within the next 3 to 5 years, you're looking at it increasing to 150 euros per ton. And then by 2035, which is just around the corner, 194 euros per ton. This is why we do carbon accounting. Unfortunately, very few companies have a plan about how they'll meet greenhouse gas reduction mandates. compliance emission reductions are mandated by the EU, the IMO, and SEC. So in Europe, you have to showcase your scope 1, 2, which means it's in your supply chain. Doesn't mean you can go to Vera. You can't buy open carbon market products. You can't buy voluntary carbon markets unless they're associated with your supply chain. They won't count. In the United States, the federal government is going the same way. The SEC has developed a way of needing it to be part of your mandated reporting for public companies and companies that are going public. You also have the restrictions for the voluntary markets. And what we've seen is the open and the voluntary carbon markets have crashed. And they've crashed because of these new marketplaces that are coming in that are all based on regulatory certifications and audits and required by businesses. And they're taxed. So how do we finance projects with greenhouse gas reduction ETS securities? So we back it by certifications and data validating the impact in scope 1 through 3 compliance reductions. And as a company, we nestle up next to supply chains. So we talked about scope 1 and 2 and 3. So scope 1 is basically everything in a company's box. Scope 2 is just outside a company's box. So scope 2 is anything associated with real estate, with energy, waste. Scope 1 is all the internal operations within that corporation's foundational box. And that's kind of where we lie. We like to sit in the scope 2. So here's an example of a $100 million project that we're proposing with a securities investment at a port. So what this does, it allows us to secure ourselves in the real estate of all of the port residents. So that could be Exxon, it could be Maersk, it could be any of the large shipping corporations. And we put in a waste-to-energy site, which is the anchor to the reduction mechanisms. And then we put in additional remediation efforts that we work with organizations like University of San Diego to do nature-based accounting on the LCA reductions. So that's kind of a holistic idea of how you can make some form and function work and to finance your projects. So it works by, we put in a proposal for how to fit into a company's scope 1 and 2 reductions. We create and activate that project. We get them third-party validated for carbon accounting and certifications with international accounting firms. And then the third-party verified system goes into the ETS credit system where they can be traded. And through this, we generate a lot of blue jobs. So why do we want to do this? We want to support transitional energy and circular carbon recovery businesses through this new type of financial mechanism, create clean energy resources, regenerate our resources, reduce dependency on our fossil fuels, reduce global CO2e footprints, and create clean energy jobs while enhancing local economies. So, blue capitalization, a process designed to meet scope 1 to 2 greenhouse gas reduction compliance mandates through environmental and social governance validations backed by certifications. Thank you. So if you want to get a hold of us, that's where you can reach me. It's Andrea at bluecapital.blue.
Thank you, Andrea, for that excellent presentation. The next topic we have is an innovative way of converting waste plastics to ammonia, presented by Ed VanDyne, President and CEO of Plastics to Green, Incorporated.
Thank you Thank you very much, everyone. I appreciate the conference, appreciate everybody attending. We're working here to make sure that we change the future of what happens to all the plastic that does not get recycled. Basically, you can see in this picture all the bottle caps on all the plastic. Basically, anything where the mixed waste plastic has two types of plastic in it does not get recycled today. It gets kicked out of the material recovery facility and gets sent to the landfill primarily. In other countries, it gets dumped in the ocean, unfortunately. So our solution is really about utilizing high-temperature plasma or lightning to be able to dissociate the molecules of plastic and be able to turn it into the lowest cost ammonia in the world, high-value carbon products, and do it all at 60% margins so that we can actually make money cleaning up the mess that we've made. The big question is, why ammonia? Ammonia is going to be the hydrogen carrier of the future. Ammonia basically carries more hydrogen than hydrogen. And so if you look at a hydrogen storage facility just to hold 17 gigawatt hours of electricity, it's 100 meters by 100 meters by 114 meters, compared to that same amount of energy in the form of ammonia at 32 by 22 and only costing $20 million compared to $460 million to store that same amount of hydrogen as hydrogen under pressure. Even if you liquefy ammonia or liquefy hydrogen at minus 270 degrees Celsius, you still have 70% more hydrogen in the ammonia tank than you do in the hydrogen tank at cryogenic temperatures. And the ammonia is at room temperature, or it's only at 1 atmosphere if it's minus 33. You only need to pressurize ammonia to about 150 psi for it to be a liquid at room temperature. So why ammonia from a marketing perspective? The ammonia market today is $80 billion. It's the third highest volume molecule that humans manufacture. So basically, behind gasoline and diesel fuel, ammonia is the highest chemical production in the world. Without ammonia, we would only be able to feed 3 billion people on the planet, and everyone knows we're approaching 8 billion people, and so ammonia is a critical resource. But we believe the green ammonia that's going to fuel shipping and trucking and trains in the future as the hydrogen fuel or zero carbon fuel of the future, that green ammonia market is growing very, very rapidly at 73% CAR. I can never remember that acronym, CARG, whatever. Anyway, the real things in the industry that are happening is Toyota is actually developing engines to run on ammonia. There's a company we're working with called Ammonia that is developing fuel cells to run on ammonia. So in the future, the hydrogen, how the hydrogen is stored in the tank of the vehicle is going to be in the form of ammonia, and either in combustion engines or in fuel cells, that hydrogen energy will get utilized in the vehicle. Our technology is basically a cousin of methane pyrolysis. Methane pyrolysis there on the bottom with the line underneath. And methane pyrolysis is now being developed today. The first big factory is coming online next year from Monolith. The way 98% of ammonia is manufactured today is the top line with steam methane reforming. It uses both steam and methane to supply the hydrogen feedstock to making the ammonia. But you can see it has a carbon intensity. The number one way to make green ammonia is the third line from the bottom, called electrolysis. But if you look at the energy number, it takes 36 gigajoules of energy to make 1 ton of ammonia with electrolysis. Whereas with methane pyrolysis, driven by renewable electrons, you can make green ammonia with a 0 carbon footprint, and you can make it for 8.4 gigajoules of energy. The key is when you're done, you have a ton of ammonia which carries 19 gigajoules of energy. So our technology, being a cousin process to methane pyrolysis, we're just doing ethylene pyrolysis and propylene pyrolysis. You can just think of all the different plastics that you know about, and convert them to a gas. And once they're gasified, basically we process them the same way as methane pyrolysis and get 2.5 times the energy output as our energy input. As long as we drive that process with green electrons, we'll still have green ammonia. If you look at methane pyrolysis minus the methane feedstock cost, basically we're taking everything that would otherwise be going to the dump and people will be paying tipping fees. Typical MRF still pays a significant amount of tipping fees for what they send to the dump, and we take all of that. Basically, we will have the lowest cost ammonia in the world using this process. So what is the process? Basically, it's a front-end process that's used for medical waste destruction. So everything that goes into a red bin in a hospital, syringes, blood, you name it, all the different types of plastic that are in the different tubes and syringes. Basically, first they get cooked in a primary furnace up to enough temperature to gasify the plastics and take out the aluminums and the silicones in that first oven. Then the ash is taken out from all the paper waste. So if you think of a yogurt container with the yogurt still in it and the paper label around the outside and the aluminum lid on top, we can take that entire yogurt container and everything else that gets shredded and put into the system. So we have no sorting on our front end. We typically let the MRF do the sorting for us, but whatever they're sending to the landfill is what we typically take. Then that process in the middle with the plasma in the middle, that's the identical process to methane pyrolysis. And that process basically molecularly disassociates all the hydrocarbon gases and pulls them apart into hydrogen and carbon primarily. There still is food waste and water waste in that plastic, so there still will be a small amount of oxygen in that process, even though it'll be fundamentally pyrolysis, except for the waste oxygen. And so we still will get a small amount of carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, and then sometimes a significant amount of chlorine from PVC plastic, which we can take. And so primarily our outputs are carbon black and ammonia after we take the hydrogen and add nitrogen to it from the air, and we end up with ammonia and carbon black as our primary outputs. Michelin and Bridgestone have asked for recycled carbon black, so we will be one of the few people supplying high volume recycled carbon black. And then we will also upgrade whenever we have what we call contaminated carbon black. We will upgrade that into graphene using a secondary plasma process that will both get rid of the heavy metals and other contamination in the carbon, and at the same time convert that carbon black to graphene for batteries and supercapacitors. And then we will take all our carbon monoxide from the end and take that and make carbon nanotubes out of that, which are worth as much as $50,000 a pound. So where's all this plastic coming from? Well, just counting what plastic is shipped overseas, New Jersey is the worst offender these days. It used to be California when things were going to China, but basically China stopped taking plastic in 2018, and so basically there's all the missing plastic that's no longer going to China that is available to our process, as well as what is typically shipped overseas, and we can prevent it from going overseas and take it for a lot less money and be able to process it into valuable fertilizer and hydrogen fuel. So right now we're in the middle of building our mobile lab this year. So we should be at TRL 6 by the end of the year, where we've demonstrated the process as a complete process step all the way from waste plastic to ammonia. And then we will be building a pilot plant over the next 2 years to be able to take the technology to take TRL level 8. At TRL level 8, we'll have access to the hydrogen loan program. It's called Title 17 loan program from the Department of Energy, where we intend to basically borrow at a low interest rate $2 billion to be able to build 3 plants. Plant 1, 2, and 3 will be built somewhere on the Hudson River, the Mississippi River, and the Bay of San Francisco, or somewhere along those lines, so that we can get this technology rolled out, and then from there build a profitable company that will allow us to take this technology all over the world. There's plastic waste everywhere in the world. We're one of the few processes that can take take plastic directly out of the water, whether it's the ocean or a river. We'll be able to process that plastic directly and pull it out and put it into the system because of that medical waste front end can handle water. So this is what a plant will look like. As an example, we'll be able to make a high amount of profits. $1.7 billion a year can be made from 3 plants by 2032. Look forward to your questions. These are just the risks of our company. Basically, we have high capital requirements, and so the amount of money we need to raise is really the key. Fortunately, the Department of Energy has a huge loan program. We just have to get from here to there to qualify for that loan program. I look forward to your questions.
Thank you, Ed. That was an excellent presentation. The next topic is thermal hydrolysis of MSW, revolutionary waste conversion technology, presented by Joe Ayala, who is Chief Operating Officer of ECONWARD Tech, LLC.
Just press any button here. Just this one, right?
Yes.
All right. Lift this. Hello, everyone. Can you guys hear me? I am Argentinian, so my mother tongue is Spanish, and I learned English in Australia, so I use the wrong words. So anyway, let me tell you about ECONWARD. ECONWARD, the name of my company, of our company, is 2 words joined together. Eco as in ecology, and onward as in moving forward. It's pronounced ECONWARD. And I know we are in a waste conversion technology conference, and we are perhaps not a truly waste conversion technology. What we do is thermal hydrolysis. We are a company that made a continuous. Please remember to switch off your phones. We made autoclaving, continuous autoclaving work for solid waste. Why is that important? It is important because if you had a method that could hydrolyze the organic fraction of municipal solid waste, then you will be able to separate. Because if you can degrade what it is degradable and not degrade the inert fraction, the non-organic fraction, then you will be able to improve every single waste conversion technology in the world. So what I'm saying is we are not a waste conversion technology, but we can help waste conversion a lot. This company, this technology is at technology readiness level 9. It's fully developed. We have an industrial facility that has been operating for 4 years at over 90% uptime. And we are just introducing it in the United States. The technology has been built following the highest standards possible. We have military-grade precision and quality standards, over 10,000 construction models and drawings, tens of thousands of R&D spent developing this technology. I'm not going to make you, Richard told me earlier, don't put more than 30 words, was it, per slide? But I had already sent it, so it's too late. And then he said also, don't read from your slides. If we look at the waste treatment systems currently available around the globe, we have landfills with or without landfill gas collection systems. We have incineration, very popular in countries like Japan or Indonesia. We have, in the US, we don't have MBTs, we have MRFs, we have material recycling facilities. In other parts of the world, like in Europe, for instance, MBTs, mechanical biological treatment plants are very, very common. We do have a lot of AD, anaerobic digestion, in the United States, and of course we have wastewater treatment plants. Now, what our technology does is to add value to each one of these operations, and what is not shown here is what is up and coming, like pyrolysis or gasification, or all of those technologies that are being developed to recycle plastics. Our objective has never been the recycling of plastics. Our objective is the recycling of the organics. Our mission in life is to stop organics from going to landfills. The environment is very favorable. At the moment, we are seeing in the United States a number of jurisdictions implementing organic waste diversion, source separation programs. That is happening not only in the United States, it's also happening worldwide. There are higher and higher targets for recycling of all type of materials, including organics. There are targets for sourcing of green energy in power stations, such as the case here in California as well. As Andrea was mentioning earlier, the price of carbon, it's increasing because it's becoming more and more valuable. And there is a lot of capital. There is not a lack of capital for this thing that we do, for waste conversion, for recycling. On the contrary, there is an increasing amount of available capital that is coming to this sector. And what we are seeing now is all of these new technologies that are coming. I think I went back. Our technology complements every one of those classes of waste facilities. For example, for a landfill, if we could divert all of the organics, there wouldn't be any more methane emissions at landfills. Imagine that. Imagine if we could implement a technology that separates your organics so you don't have to landfill them anymore. When it rains, the leachate, it will be just rain runoff. It wouldn't be a leachate full of chemicals that goes and pollutes. If we remove the organics from landfills, we wouldn't have odors. Probably we wouldn't have landfills anymore. I mean, if you remove the organic fraction, what you get, what is an inert fraction that will be perfect to be used as a refuse-derived fuel or for recycling. Attending this conference, a word that I hear all the time is how heterogeneous MSW is. But that's the nature of MSW. MSW is by nature heterogeneous. And many of the challenges that waste conversion technologies face are linked to the lack of homogeneity. For instance, a yogurt, I think were you, Ed, talking about the yogurt, with the yogurt inside and the paper and the plastic, if you could separate the organic fraction and end up with a clean plastic, it would be much easier, right? We can do that. We can help landfills by removing and separating the organic fraction. Incineration and waste conversion facilities will get a much cleaner input, a certifiable input, more importantly. MBTs or MRFs, for instance, we're in San Diego today, and today, at this time, we are sending probably over 1,000 tons of organic rich waste from MRF, from material recycling facilities in this city. They are collecting all of the recycling that they were set up to recycle, but their tails, their fines are organic rich, and those are going to landfills right now, and there is no technology that can capture that, so we can do it. For anaerobic digestion and wastewater treatment, there is a lot of value in the organics being hydrolyzed. Hydrolysis is a fancy word for cooked. A cooked potato is a hydrolyzed potato. And our process is very, very simple. We just steam, so we don't use liquid water. We use steam at very low pressure, between 3 and 4 bars, to hydrolyze the organic fraction, to degrade. Basically, we degrade what is biodegradable very quickly, and what is not biodegradable, like glass or plastic or metals, it just, nothing happens to it. So that enables a very quick and easy separation. This is what this is a process flow of what we call a now-on plant that has a thermal hydrolysis. It's 5 minutes already, Richard? Not yet? We're doing well. That has in there a thermal hydrolysis system inside that biomac equipment in the middle. All the rest, what you see before and after, that box in there, is commercially available equipment. We have a lot of, in the market right now, there is a lot of biogas plants, of trommels, MRFs. What we need is a functioning, reliable, financially feasible thermal hydrolysis system to link all of this existing infrastructure. We already have the infrastructure to capture organics and to stop sending organics to landfills. What is missing is, the missing link is this technology. And now one plant talking about CO2 sequestration and capture. When you think of diverting those 65,000 tons of waste per year, you end up with 73,000 tons of CO2 equivalent per year savings. So it's equivalent to the CO2 capture by 35,000 hectares of forest. That's like 80,000 acres of forest per machine. So these machines are by themselves an enormous decarbonization tool. during the lifetime of each piece of equipment, is over 1.5 million tons of CO2 equivalent. We have based our many years of research in 3 main areas on making the mechanical components better, because one of the biggest problems for thermal hydrolysis was that autoclaves, these pressure vessels, will break. If you put waste inside a metal vessel and apply pressure, steam, there will be a lot of corrosion and erosion. Corrosion from because of the composition of MSW, and erosion because of the impact of the metals, the glass, the sand, all of the solids that are in the solid waste. So we apply a technology that is better understood. Think of factories that make nuclear submarines. That those machines are supposed to be underwater for 30 years and not explode, not break. We follow the same principles. We also did a lot of development on the application of thermal hydrolysis. That is to improve to reduce the heat consumption. For instance, right now, per ton, our cost per ton, our energy cost per ton is about $5 per ton. Not talking about the cost of the technology, right? That's a different calculation. It's a capex, et cetera, but it's a very effective as a pre-treatment method, and then we also focus on the applications of this technology, for instance, for anaerobic digestion, where we have commercial operations now that are producing up to double the energy output that they had without thermal hydrolysis. That is because in layman terms, if you feed a baby raw food, you kill it. If you feed a baby cooked food, you help him grow. That is exactly what happened between hydrolysis and anaerobic digestion. It's just cooking the food for the anaerobic digestion bacteria. We have a business model like everyone else. There is a huge opportunity. In the current market, we could install 2,000 of these machines and it wouldn't cover the existing market. And the market is increasing rapidly. And the same for the rest of the world. A bit about the history of our company. We've been doing this since 2009. You can see there the different steps, different patents, different certifications, different awards to get us to 2024. We have 4 or 5 patents and 5 or 6 others in progress. We're fully funded and ready to, we're looking for projects to deploy this technology. About the technology, it's a technology that can be integrated to existing facilities. That's what we want. It's much easier to integrate into an existing facility than building the wheel. Particularly wastewater treatment plants in California could benefit a lot by enabling them to receive the organics that currently they cannot. There are a lot of opportunities in waste conversion as well. And again, about the company, it has a unique technology that currently there are no competitors in the market. Finally, this is the last slide. Some words from Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock. He said that the next 1,000 unicorns, and unicorns being those companies like Google or Facebook were when they were startups. of the next 1,000 startups, they won't be search engines or social media. I'm reading my slide, Richard, sorry. But I don't remember what he said exactly, but he said that there will be technologies, perhaps and hope, many of which we have seen in this conference, that are going to help the world decarbonize and make the energy transition affordable for consumers. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, Joe. Very nice job. At this point, we're going to open up for questions. Again, any of the presenters are available to answer, and fire away. There you go.
Thank you. The first question, Tom Hintz from Seahold, is for Ed. On the ammonia, that can be applied. Can you hear me okay? Thanks.
Yep.
On the ammonia, Ed, Tom Hintz of Seahold Biogas. The ammonia you're producing is able to be used as a fertilizer directly, like the current anhydrous ammonia that's in place?
Correct.
And what would it cost per ton for
We'll be able to sell it for $900 to $1,000 a ton in Europe, but in the United States it sells for about $600 or $700 a ton as fertilizer. So for what we're doing, we don't really care, since we can make it for $300 to $325 a ton. So we'll sell it at the market price, whether it's in the United States or it's in Europe.
The next question is for the ECONWARD. Again, Tom Hintz, on your technology, are you going to be replacing the front ends that are currently in place, such as depackagers? The material would all go into the autoclaves and then process the organic fraction, and then the inorganic fractions would be rejected?
Yeah, so when we talk about depackagers, we are talking about food waste. Now, food waste, there are two types of food waste. There is that pre-consumer food waste. Think of 100 tons a day of expired Campbell soup.
Right.
That is called food waste, right? Because it's expired food and it cannot be consumed. Now, it will be ridiculous to send that to a landfill, right? We all agree. There are right now very, very good technologies called like you mentioned, a depackaging machine. And what the depackaging machine does is to break those cans, in this example, the Campbell soup example, and separate the liquid from the can, right? The soup from the can. And that is perfect. So we don't want to replace what is working. However, when you think about food waste commingled, like the food waste that we produce.
Post-consumer.
Yeah, post-consumer. The one that we produce today after lunch. I don't know if you saw our bin in there. Mm-hmm. That leftover food mixed with cutlery or whatever, paper, soil paper, glass, sand, plastics, etc., etc. There is no method to separate that post-consumer. So that should not go to a depackaging machine because it's going to break it, and it's well proven. So the only place where that can go today is a landfill, unless you have technology. So our technology is aimed to that type of waste. Yeah?
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
No more. Here's a question up front.
Hi, this question is for Joe again. Is your process able to biodegrade like paper and cardboard? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
If they are biodegradable,
Yeah.
they will degrade by thermal hydrolysis.
Excellent. Okay.
Meaning anything that can be cooked, like food, veggies, paper, I guess, it will be degraded by steam. Basically, it's just hot steam.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Any others? Yep, there we go.
This is for Mr. Ayala. Have you looked at what your process does for PFAS?
Yes, it does nothing because this gentle steaming that we do, it doesn't have enough pressure and temperature to remove PFAS. For PFAS removal, you need, more energy, like higher pressures, higher temperatures.
Any others? Gene, I think we're running early here. We've
Running early, so here's what I'm going to suggest that we do that I have done in the past at conferences where we've had a little bit of extra time, is we're all here to network, but yet we all really don't get a chance to learn who everybody is and what everybody does or what their interest is in this area. So I'm going to pass the mic around. I want you to introduce yourself, tell you who you're with, in what area is interest to you. Now, we got to make this really quick. We've got 30 minutes. I figure if we give everybody about 30 seconds to introduce yourself, right? We'll get an idea of who's here and what the interest is. So this is the value of the networking of conferences. So we're going to start over here.
Great.
Hi, everyone. I'm Danielle Easdale from the Recycling Partnership. I lead the film and flexibles work with the Recycling Partnership and also am the lead for the advanced recycling.
Perfect. That's exactly, you just nailed it right there.
Hello, I'm Jesse Rubin with Reformed Energy, and we are a gasification company doing a 50-ton per day modular gasification system for MSW and other waste streams.
Hi, I'm Julia Rivido. I work for Cyclix, and we collect different feedstocks, all different plastics for advanced recycling and mechanical recycling.
Greetings, I'm Brian, and I'm with Ed VanDyne, and you've already heard that pitch, so I'll save you from that one. But I run business development for the company. Looking forward to meet most of you.
Tim Kelly, I spoke earlier, Imperial Valley Economic Development Corporation. And I just want to tell you what we want out of this conference is we come here with projects that are looking to expand into other areas, but in addition to that, they're looking for financing. So we have several projects that are nearing completion, but lacking maybe the last 10%.
Hi, Sean Wilcock, also with Imperial Valley Economic Development Corporation, and we come here to attract projects to our county, and most of the projects that we deal with are large industrial in nature. So, we're looking to attract anything that would benefit our county.
I'm Jocelyn Nowak, and I'm co-founder of Lifeline, a textile recycling company out of Nairobi, Kenya, and we're just getting off the ground, so I'm here to learn.
I'm Abram Linderberry with Vecoplan. We make shredders for the waste industry, municipal solid waste, medical waste, plastic, wood, paper, everything except for the cars and engines that are in them.
Hello, I'm Kokowase Kwambleku. I work for Tuskegee University. I'm a professor of soil and environmental chemistry, and we produce methane from our lab. I'm here to work with other people to develop some new technologies that we can use to train our scientists of the future.
Hi everyone, my name is Kausar Vaziftar, LA County Public Works. I spoke this morning. I manage the county's conversion technology and single-use plastics programs.
Hey there, I'm Mike Hart. I'm the CEO of Sierra Energy, have been for the last 20 years. We have a waste conversion technology, gasification, take any kind of waste with zero emissions and recycle 100%. I'll be speaking at 3 o'clock. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kim Yap. I also work for LA County Department of Public Works. I work for CalSAR in the Conversion Technology Program. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ted Kaiser with Dock 7 Materials Group. We're a feedstock supplier of plastics for mechanical and hopefully chemical recycling companies, and we specialize in agricultural plastics.
I'm Joelle Simone Pietri. My company is a technology and project developer for heterogeneous wastes to fuel and value-added products. We're focused on construction and demolition debris, conversion to renewable natural gas. We'll be talking tomorrow morning a little bit about our project.
Good afternoon. I'm Todd Schmiedler. I'm with Zero Waste Group. We have an on-site small-scale waste-to-energy technology that can basically take any organics and convert it. Unlike most of them, we actually are about 1 ton a day with a focus on being on-site and having multiple units to hit where your waste is and then connect it to either power or heat.
What's the technology?
It's called Wattage.
Yeah, but I'm not explaining the technology.
Yeah, it's a small scale, so it's in a Conex box, and it is a waste energy. I'm getting ready to present at 3 o'clock, so 3:30, so I didn't want to give too much away from it. And so, is that okay?
Hi, I'm Dale Fontanez. I am project manager in business development at SoCalGas. I'm considered a subject matter expert for DERs, and my group is looking to develop projects for DERs and RNG.
Alfonso Reyna, also a project manager at SoCalGas and business development. So basically want to learn as much as I can on gasification, pyrolysis. Any developer, anyone that's interested in producing syngas and putting it into the pipeline within our service area, you guys could reach out to myself or to Dale.
My name is Joe McDonough from St. Simons Island, Georgia. We'd like to invite you all to Georgia. We recently patented a process called enzymatic extraction vacuum conversion. Have patent U.S., international, China, South Africa, and working on patents in seven other countries right now. But we are a disruptive non-thermal technology, so we don't oxidize any of the constituents of the byproducts. We use all forms of carbon, and that is all forms of plastic and cellulosic products with no waste streams and no greenhouse gases.
Hello, I'm Scott Vanderow. I'm a partner at Energy Transaction Advisor as a boutique consulting firm. I spoke earlier this morning, but we focus on technology reviews and assessments specifically for pyrolysis and gasification technologies, among other things.
Tom Hintz, Seahold, Team Biogas. We provide technology consulting to our clients that are either looking for technology or developing technology and looking for project sites. Former project developer in the state and very familiar with permitting and getting projects organized and gassed into the pipeline.
I am Kosuke. I'm from San Jose. My company is mainly oil and gas in Japan, so it's like kind of controversial being here, but I know that we have to make a transition from petroleums, and one of those could be the waste conversion, and that's why I'm here and happy to be connected. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lily Roberts. I'm a student and an intern at the University of San Diego, and I'm working with Andrea and Neal to develop an LCA certification program for students like myself.
We need more students.
Hi, I'm Seung-Yi Hoekstra with Southwest Research Institute in San Antonio, Texas. We're a nonprofit contract research organization, so we're really here to help you and also help our clients with process development, scale up of all these different kinds of technologies that we're doing for waste conversion.
Hi there, I'm Leonard Benfeld, Solutions Manager at eFactor 3. We're an engineering and machinery distribution company that specializes in recycling, engineering process engineering, sorry. So whether you're doing waste energy or mechanical plastic recycling, chemical recycling, we help you take that waste stream and turn it into something usable.
Tim Tiscornia with Chomp. We do containerized and modular anaerobic digestion units for urban and suburban environments. And yeah, I'm always here at these conferences just to find other partners to potentially provide some technologies that we can use or to team up for projects that will. Go out and reduce the overall carbon footprint.
Good afternoon, Mark Rodabaugh. I'm with San Bernardino County Department of Public Works, and I'm here to learn a little bit more about long-term solutions to landfilling. As it's a finite resource, we got to come up with alternatives.
Dave McConnell, I'm with Juno LLC. It's a mixed waste processing technology developed by Georgia Pacific. I'm really here to catch up on all of the new technologies that are being presented and get a good understanding of what's really moving forward and getting to the commercial level. Very important. I've attended this conference several times and really have enjoyed participating in it.
Hello, Gene. I'm a student of the world. And I just spoke on plastic to pyrolysis oil and really looking for development partners and investors.
Hi, I'm Vanessa Clark with Ancon Services. We're in the waste transportation and disposal business, so I'm here really to learn about some new technologies that can help my clients in their goals towards zero landfill.
Hi, I'm Sandra Perillo. I'm an environmental health and safety specialist at Takeda Pharmaceuticals. I'm just here to learn and take information back to the company.
Hello, my name is Yui Aito, company from Denso. We are automotive supplier. I'm in charge of investigating sustainable materials and process for manufacturing. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Mike O'Brien. I'm a co-founder of XTL Holdings. We're a technology development company and a project development company. We have several technologies in the energy sector, specialty chemicals, and resource development. We're here today with MSW H2, one of our licensors, and representing the absolute pyrolysis technology, which is we can take any carbonaceous feedstock, which is either liquid, solid, or gaseous, and pyrolyze it and or gasify it to make syngas or hydrogen.
Tim Thiel with Kavesha. We're a large chemical manufacturer. Yes, I'm here twofold. We might be able to use some of your outputs, and then I have a ton of customers that come to me all the time that want to give a lot of you their waste materials at end of life. So, thank you.
Hi, I'm Boz with Misco Systems. We're a division of Misco Water, gets involved with water and wastewater treatment world west of the Rockies. We supply equipment. I'm a business development manager, and I'm here looking for any projects that we can design, build, own, operate, and maintain, finance. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Julie Mitchell. I'm with York Engineering. I do environmental permitting and compliance on any sort of waste to energy, landfilling, composting, et cetera. Pretty much any industry.
Hello, Ryle Johnson. I work for Athens Services, the largest private hauler in the LA area. We have multiple facilities. My title is VP of Resource Recovery. A lot of people in my company call me the mad scientist. My job is to go to these conferences and try to find the latest technology. We're not a landfill company. We don't own any landfills, so we're always looking for alternatives.
Great. Very similar. Tip Torres. I'm a partner in a New York law firm. We represent, I spoke earlier, we represent municipalities and government agencies when they delve into environmental construction, projects, water, wastewater, solid waste, and energy. So I'm here to, as I always do with Gene's conferences, learn what's happening in the industry, learn who's making it happen, and learning what your challenges are so we can help our clients through those areas. Look forward to meeting you all.
Have we missed anyone? We're just doing short introductions.
All right. Well, let me ask a couple of quick questions just to eat up some more time and to get feedback from you all, because I need feedback, right? If we're going to do the conference again, I need input from everybody in the room, and if you don't want to tell me now, after the event, send me an email, tell me what we're missing. Heard several comments related to financing, all right, so that's key to me. Maybe we need some finance presentations for projects. What else? What would be helpful for you in the room to learn about? Yes, Scott.
You said
I heard you make a comment that it'd be nice to have more students, and I just thought popped into my head that when registration fees come up, if there was a box to check that you would contribute an extra 10 or 20% that would help fund a student to be here, I would probably check that box. I'll just say that.
I'll send you several emails.
If we dare, environmental justice people and oil refinery people, petrochems, the bigger ones, both.
All right, we are recording this, so I'm not taking notes right now, so I have to go back through and write everything down.
So, Gene?
Yes.
At least this year and what we've seen in years past, I'm not seeing as many people who would buy the material, so people that you do offtake with.
Offtake, okay. Offtake agreements. I know, Tip, you could probably take an offtake contract.
I would say speakers such as California Air Resources Board to talk about, carbon credits and the carbon credit program, so that companies that implement the technologies that we're talking about are incentivized to do so.
That's another good one. I'll tell you from a personal standpoint, and it's a self-interest standpoint, we need more sponsors, right? This is our 15th event. I have yet to make any money at this conference. It's cost us every year to do it, but my heart is in it. I love this subject. And I know I'm preaching to the choir. Everybody in this room loves this idea. It's just a matter of developing it and moving forward with it. So I encourage everybody in the room, next year, if we're going to do this again next year, bring somebody with you or find us a sponsor. Because we've got to make this work. We've got to continue and make it happen. All right, why don't we go ahead and break a little bit early? We'll go ahead and head next door. Speaking of sponsors, go network with the guys next door and ladies and gentlemen next door and learn about what they're doing.
How about a final hand for Gene and his gang?